Imagine you move 50 meters to your mailbox and then 50 meters back to your front door. In total it took you 100 seconds. What is your average velocity? If you said 1 meter per second, you just fell for the biggest trap in physics. The real answer is in fact 0. But why is that? In this video we're going beyond definitions. We're solving 3 essential exam problems that appear every single year in GCSE, high school and CBSE exams. I've even put a step-by-step workbook in the description so you can follow along. Grab a pen and let's master linear motion, starting with problem number 1. A student walks from the front door to a mailbox 50 meters away in 40 seconds, then walks back to the front door in another 60 seconds. Calculate the average speed for the whole trip. Calculate the average velocity for the whole trip. So let's highlight the important data in the text and the unknowns that are the average speed and the average velocity. Let's try to understand what this data mean in the context of our exercise. So we know that the mailbox is 50 meters away from the house. The student walks from the house to the mailbox first, so this 50 meters represents the first distance traveled, and one will indicate it as d1 equals 50. Notice that in many textbooks distance is indicated with the letter S, but in this video we will use the d, which is very common as well. Then the student walks back home, so the second distance traveled is again 50 meters, and that will be d2. We know how long it takes the student to walk from the house to the mailbox and back, and we will indicate these time intervals with t1 and t2. And the unknowns are the average speed and the average velocity. Notice that the symbol for speed and velocity is v, but since the velocity is a vector quantity, we will put a small arrow on top. We will see later what that means. Let's begin with answering the first question. Average speed is the ratio between total distance and total time. In formula is v equals d over t. To calculate the total distance we just need to sum the two distances, which is simply 100 meters. Likewise, to find the total time we need to sum the two time intervals t1 and t2, which produces 100 seconds. So to calculate the average speed we just need to divide d by t, and we find 100 meters over 100 seconds, and the result is 1 meter per second. And this is the average speed. So let's move on to the second question. Average velocity is instead displacement over total time. Displacement is the change in position from the start to the end of the motion with its direction. So let's see what that means. The student starts his trip from his house, then walks to the mailbox, turns around and then walks back home, which means the end point and the start point of the trip are the same. So the displacement, which is the change in position, is actually 0. It is as if the student hadn't moved at all. And since the displacement is 0, the average velocity is 0 as well. So what are the main points of this exercise? Remember that average speed is total distance divided by total time, whereas average velocity is displacement divided by total time. The displacement is in fact the change in position from the start to the end of the motion, considering also its direction. So average velocity is 0 in any motion where start and end points are the same. A teacher is pacing in front of a whiteboard. She moves 8 meters to the right in 4 seconds, then turns around and moves 12 meters to the left in 6 seconds. Find the average velocity of the teacher. So let's highlight the important data in the text. And notice that when scanning an exercise like this, it is important to take note whether the movement is in the right and the left direction, because that is important to define displacement correctly. The unknown is the average velocity of the teacher. So let's try to understand what is happening. We have the teacher in front of the whiteboard. We need to find a way to define her displacement. So let's use an axis to indicate the coordinate of the teacher. The origin of the axis will be the starting position of the teacher, and then we can define all other positions with positive and negative coordinates. Notice that positive coordinates are those to the right of the initial point, whereas negative coordinates correspond to positions to the left. So we know that initially the teacher moves 8 meters to the right. Therefore, this is a positive displacement, because it goes in the positive direction of the axis. We have indicated the displacement with the letter delta x, because delta in physics means variation. Whenever there is a displacement, the coordinate is bound to vary. And since it is moving to the positive direction of the axis, the displacement will be positive as well. After this displacement, the teacher moves 12 meters to the left. In this case, the displacement will be negative, and we will call it delta x2. We know the time intervals needed for both displacements, which are 4 seconds and 6 seconds, and the unknown is the average velocity. So what is average velocity? That is the ratio between displacement and total time. In formula, it is average velocity equals to delta x divided by t. How to find the total displacement? We can just sum the two displacements, which means that the total displacement is the algebraic sum of the two displacements, and the result is negative 4 meters. This means that effectively the overall displacement is to the left, because the sign is negative. To find the total time, we can just sum the two time intervals, and that equals 10 seconds. Therefore, the average velocity is delta x over t, which is negative 4 meters divided by 10 seconds, and the result is negative 0.4 meters per second. The negative sign means that the displacement and the average velocity are both directly to the left. So what are the main points of this exercise? Average velocity is the ratio between displacement and total time. And to calculate displacements, you need to define an axis with positive and negative coordinates. Then you have to write each displacement with the sign corresponding to the direction being left or right. And then you can calculate the total displacement as the algebraic sum of displacements. A sprinter runs the first 100 meters of a race at a constant speed of 5 meters per second, and the next 100 meters at 10 meters per second. Calculate the average speed for the full race. Let's highlight the important information in the text and the unknown. We know that the sprinter runs two distances of 100 meters. We can indicate them in the givens as d1 and d2 both being equal to 100 meters. We also know the speeds, and we will indicate them with v1 and v2. The unknown is of course the average speed. To understand what's happening, we have to imagine that the sprinter in total is running a 200-meter long race, and the first 100 meters are run at a velocity of 5 meters per second, and the final part of the race instead at a higher velocity, which is 10 meters per second. And what we have to do is to calculate the average speed. So we could calculate the average speed as the average of v1 and v2, and that would deliver as a result 7.5 meters per second. But unfortunately this would be completely wrong. In fact, the average speed is not the arithmetic mean of velocities. If we want to find the average speed correctly, we have to stick to its definition. And the definition of average speed is total distance divided by total time. In formula, v equals d over t. We can find the total distance very easily. We already know that it's 200 meters. To calculate the total time, we have to sum the time intervals needed to run both distances of 100 meters, which we don't know yet, so we have to calculate them, and to do that we will use the triangle method. The triangle method consists in placing distance, velocity and time in the triangle as shown. To rearrange the formula to find the time, for instance, cover time with the finger, and you are left with a d over v, and that is in fact the formula to calculate the time. We can use this formula to calculate both time intervals. t1 will be d1 over v1, and that is 100 meters divided by 5 meters per second, which results in 20 seconds. We can do the same thing to find t2, and the result is 10 seconds instead. So the total time is then 30 seconds. Now we can proceed to calculate the average speed. So d over t is 200 meters over 30 seconds, and the result is 6.7 meters per second with two significant digits. So great job today! If you followed along with these 3 exercises, you're already ahead of most students. If you want to practice even more, don't forget to download the free study guide from the link in the description. It includes the step-by-step solutions we did today, plus 2 extra challenging problems I've added to help you prep for your exams. Now that you've mastered speed and velocity, the next logical step is acceleration. I've linked my full lesson on acceleration right here. Click to see what happens when velocity changes over time. And if this video made physics a little easier for you, hit the like button and subscribe to join our global classroom. This is Easy Physics, and I'll see you in the next lesson.